Welcome back to the dojo. We're going to get into some updates around the crypto space. Man, there's a lot of liquidity moving right now, and it is moving to the Binance chain. We've seen some crazy stuff happen in the last few days. We're going to go ahead and talk about that. We're also going to get into some updates across the entire crypto space. I found some really cool clips that I think all of you will enjoy. What's up, everybody? Let's say hello in the chat. We got Christopher here first. Hey, Sensei, glad to be back for another one. Hope everything is doing great and starting their week on right. Who's ready for alt season? Let's go. Man, it's been kind of crazy. Like you've seen like Ethereum and Base and those type of chains, like a lot of liquidity is moving towards BNB right now, because that's about CZ promoting a few different things. And man, it's pretty crazy to watch all the money move. So great to see you guys here. AK Scarface in the house. Break it down for us, man. Always going to. Great to see you, dude. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you again. Sensei, always a pleasure. Hopefully you and your wife had a great time for her birthday. We did, actually. We had a really good time. You know what? Actually, I should put some photos up, you know, because that was a lot of fun. Let me get a few photos going from the from dinner, and I'll show you. Absolutely. Let me just move these over to my computer real quick in the background. Anyways, let's go ahead and see what else is going on. October, yes, we're looking for some big moves in October. The government shutdown is unfortunately not helping the situation, though. So we're gonna have to take a look at like what's going on with that. ETFs are kind of on hold, or a portion of ETFs are on hold right now because of that. Which isn't ideal for anybody. Man, what is going on with this computer here? I do not know. Give me 1 second here. Let me see if can I move that in there? No, of course not. All right, let me just get into this, guys, and I'll screw around with the photo stuff on the side. Let me see what else is going on. Who else is here? Will Power's here. Great to see you, Will. Ash is here. Paul is here. Wisconsin is here. We have you. Yosu Marambe. I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. Greetings from the Netherlands. Great to see you. Ariana's here, keeping the chat safe. What's up, Keith? Great to see you, Keith. Crypto Revenge. What's up, my man? I got to say 100% XRP positive always. You know, there's a lot of like FUD and all of that stuff. You know, I've seen so much FUD at this point. Like everybody is trying to FUD the other person's project. And like, you know, you just got to kind of look past it all. I know it's hard sometimes. There's a lot of noise. LEX, great to see you. We have Hurricane Mike here from San Salvador. Great to see you, Hurricane Mike. Just Maui, great to see you. That was a great video on AI agents the other day. Which one did you watch, Just Maui? Want to try some Kiki Momo cigars? What are Kiki Momo cigars? I've never heard of them. Sounds interesting. Hopefully, you know, it's all like above board and legit. If it is, I'm down to try. But if it's a little like, you know, maybe not. Sveta, great to see you. How's it going? We got Mo here. Mo says, hey, Sensei, what are your thoughts on people saying Ripple just uses XRP as a means of raising funds and really don't care about XRP price? Well, I don't think Ripple does care about XRP price, right? They're not here to pump XRP's price. They're not here to do anything involving really XRP's price. They're here to build their utility, right, on XRP, on the XRP ledger, right, as well as use XRP and RLUSD to facilitate what their financial institutions, what their partners want them to do. Right? It would be weird if Ripple spent all day long trying to prop up XRP's price. That would make me really worried. Actually. But, you know, I think Ripple is probably, I'm trying to think of a more professional team in the blockchain space. And like, I can't. They are the elite, in my opinion. I've seen, I don't know, thousands of crypto projects. I've interviewed hundreds of crypto founders, and each interview, you know, either the person is incredibly smart, developer, you know, has some kind of business acumen, right? Great career, but like the caliber of people that work at Ripple is unheard of in my opinion. And yeah, man, I wouldn't count them out. I wouldn't count them out at all. Randy says, I know you're probably not answering until the end. Just hold everything in cold wallet right before time to sell, then move on to exchange and sell right away. So Randy, let's just answer your question now, so you don't have to wait. People are using different strategies. Okay, so if your strategy in your head is, I'm going to wait until whatever token reaches that price that you're looking at, and then you're going to sell at that price, I mean, it would be the safest, obviously talk with a financial advisor and all of that stuff. If I'm just thinking about this, not in a financial capacity or giving you financial advice, if I was like just a friend and having a conversation with you, I would say the safest place to keep that crypto or that XRP is probably on that cold wallet until it's ready to do something, right? You don't want to leave it on an exchange, because then if something happens to the exchange, you never know. And it would make the most sense to leave it in the most secure places possible until you're ready to do something, right? Now, there's going to be a lot of people in the chat that say, never sell your XRP and find ways to borrow against it. And I think that's a big strategy that a lot of other people are going to use as well. But I hope that helps you, Randy. Man, we just get so many comments. Listen, guys, if you can like the space, if you can share the space, if it's possible, I would really appreciate that. Let's just jump into some news. And I do want to get to some of your questions. Obviously, if you want to get my attention, you can always send a super chat, but I will try to answer as many questions as I can after I go through some of this news, because I think it's really important to talk about some of this stuff, right? I thought this was a really interesting clip. I put this in a video today, and the lady that's speaking here, she is the Franklin Templeton's head of innovation. Her name is Sandy Call. And she said something pretty cool here. Let me just go ahead and play this for you guys.
If you're an FA or you're a client, how do you manage this interim period, acknowledging that you're building, the final product? Do you give a common, experience? How do you deal with that? And by the way, I think there's a lot of risk between the old and the new. One's not settling very fast. The other one is. How do you bring this weird interim period together for your clients?
Yeah, and it's such a great question, Chris. And we could probably spend an entire hour just debating this question, right? My personal point of view on this is that you can't go slow, right? If we're going to really do this, we have to do this quickly. And that means that there is going to be an overwhelming mandate to get these wallet-based systems into place as quickly as possible, that there is going to be continued regulatory and legislative pressures to define all the rules around how to operate in these spaces. And there is going to be surging demand from new entrants.
Listen to this part. It's really important.
That is going to pressure incumbents to probably transition their business models a lot faster than they would have ever anticipated. We like to say that we think that the next 5 years is going to see more change in the industry than you have seen in the last 50. And that's a scary process, and it's a scary prospect, but I think that it's going to be a very exciting journey. And it's for exactly the reason you say. You can't go slow. You can't have this split system where some things are moving on a completely different time frame.
Listen.
And other things are moving instantly, because it creates all of these potentials for there to be problems. So I think that the pressure is going to be to move to the more efficient set of rails as fast as possible.
Okay, listen to the last seconds here. Listen to this one more time, because it is very important. All right, I'm going to turn this up.
Potentials for there to be problems. So I think that the pressure is going to be to move to the more efficient set of rails as fast as possible.
All right, move to the new set of rails as fast as possible. Right? So what she's talking about here, if you're maybe unfamiliar, you have all of these incumbent banks. Incumbent banks are the legacy banks, your JP Morgans, all these banks, okay? You have all of these new players, your Ripples, your Circles, your Hederas, whatever it is, Stellars, okay? Their technology is so disruptive that it forces the incumbent banks, the legacy banks, to upgrade to these new rails and these new systems
as quickly and as safely and efficiently as possible. And what was this lady's name? This lady's title is head of Franklin Templeton, 1.7 trillion. Franklin Templeton, head of innovation. She is she is the person in charge of innovation at Franklin Templeton. Okay, so she is saying that it's very difficult to have both systems at the same time, right? Because what do you tokenize some of this and you leave the rest of it, like half of it's tokenized, half of it's not. She's kind of talking about a big bang situation where all of these assets are moved overnight, and now you're starting to use these new rails. So I thought that was a really interesting clip there. Let's see here. Bastali, thank you for the $2, my friend. When do you think the new financial era will start? I think it's already started. I think it's already started. Now, maybe we haven't seen that in price yet, right? Maybe price discovery hasn't hit us yet. We're all trying to figure out, is XRP worth $2.80 or $3? But we are on the cusp of institutional adoption of these digital assets. We are on the cusp, right, of these institutions piloting and tokenizing and testing and collaborating. When does this move? I would imagine the first domino to drop. Maybe that was not the right. The first thing to happen, regulation, right? Because banks don't know what they can or can't do yet. You have regulation here in the United States for stablecoins through the Genius Act, but you still don't know which crypto assets are, fill it into what category and how you figure that out. That's going to play a vital role going forward. And thank you for the donation. I really appreciate you. What are the news? Tupi, we're going through all the news right now, my man. We just started. So I thought this was interesting. This is Christine Lagarde. Somebody asked Christine Lagarde. This person, the person asking Christine Lagarde. So if you're not familiar, Christine Lagarde, she is the president of the European Central Bank. She is the one who is helping guide the European Central Bank through creating a central bank digital currency and all of the testing. And somebody in the crowd asked her a question about Bitcoin, right? I'll let her tell you what she says. Here you go.
So can Bitcoin be like a digital form of gold?
Okay.
No.
That's the final answer, right?
Yeah.
Shall we leave it?
I hesitate to say that, but I say it because I have no fear, because I know that the social media tonight and tomorrow is going to hit me like crazy, because that's the community that they form, and that's the belief that they have, and that's the confidence that they generate amongst themselves. But I still am of the view that there is no intrinsic value and there is no underlying value to it, which doesn't mean to say that there is no hype created as a result, that some can associate with a value, meaning a price, which then moves up and down depending on what happens, who is
promoting it. All right. Somebody asked about I just thought that was an interesting clip to bring up. It's always interesting when you see, because you always hear from the Bitcoin community that central banks are going to be holding, a ton of Bitcoin and this and that. European Central Bank is saying Bitcoin, no value there, right? So I find that interesting. Some central banks are going to take the stance that there are other digital assets that they feel are more important, that do more. And that's why I talk about those specific assets that I believe will do more. What do you, Lusk, thanks for checking in, Lusk. Always nice to see you on X here. What do you think about $691,667 price prediction for XRP? People are posting. Yeah. So, all of these exchanges and different places where you get data, like pricing data, it's all usually pulled from someplace, right? And you have all of these different systems, and sometimes these systems glitch, right? They're not perfect. Do I believe some place somewhere that price of XRP is 691,000? I don't. I just think it's a glitch, and people, talk about it and speculate about it. I don't think it has any real narrative or meaning other than just kind of trying to get some clicks and views and likes on X. I don't think it has any. No, personally, I don't. Realistically, Ghost is asking price prediction for XRP. I don't think it's that crazy. I think if you listen to most chart specialists that are not in the XRP space, they'll tell you anywhere from like $5 to $10, you know? Actually, I think I had, hold on, you know what? I can actually show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Hold on. I was recording a video earlier today. Oh, hopefully I didn't close it. Hold on. I try to keep the content that I make the same day because I know that maybe you guys might want to see some of it. Ooh. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, shoot. I thought this was going to be it. Hold on. You know what? I might know how to find it. Hold on. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, hold on. Let's pull up Twitter. Let's share screen. Let's pull it up here. Share this tab. What's his name? Hold on. Let me see. History. Recently closed tabs. Man, hold on. Reopen all tabs. Okay, hold on. I'll find it for you. Give me a second. No. Hold on 1 second. Trying to remember who the clip was from earlier. You know, when you're going through hundreds of clips in a day, sometimes it's hard to remember where you saw it, but I was trying to show you this prime example. You know what? I'm gonna have to pull it. Oh God, what's his name? Hold on. No. Here it is. This is the clip I was talking about. Okay. So this is Tony Edward. That's the name I was looking for. Sorry about that. My mind went blank. Tony Edward was interviewing somebody named Caleb Franzen. Caleb Franzen is the founder of Cubic Analytics. I don't know Cubic Analytics, but here is like the actual charting for price prediction for XRP that he sees.
Look, it's not me, right? I'm not the one coming up with these price targets. It's the chart itself. Price is price. It's the only thing that's the actual truth in the market. So again, same methodologies that we've been talking about. 161.8% targets gets us to $4.40. The 261.8 gets us to $6. Then if we look at the major consolidation from the Q1 highs to the Q1 lows, we're now talking about $5.40 and $11.55. So this for me right here, right now, those are the price targets that you have to be aware of if you're holding and investing in XRP.
All right. $5 to $11 is what he says, right? So this is what most chart specialists and analysts are talking about for price for XRP. Now, I think that when you look at price and charting for XRP, a lot of people compare like previous cycles and all-time highs and these things, but like it's very difficult, in my opinion, to look back at 2021 and get an accurate reading of kind of where XRP topped out of because of the court case, right? And so I think with the ETF demand and institutional level coming in and possibly some big announcements maybe in November with Ripple's banking license, I think all of this stuff coming together, anywhere from like $20 to $30, I think is realistic. Obviously, I would love to have Jake Claver be correct with his $750 price prediction. I just think it's a little difficult for me to come out here and say that I believe that all of the things that Jake said is going to happen. So I'm thinking like $20 to $30 is a realistic goal that I have for XRP over the next few months. Now, can it be higher? Absolutely. Can it be lower? I've seen crazy bad things happen in crypto. Absolutely. But that's where I'm at, man. That's where I'm at. I don't know what you're hoping for, but you know, that's where it is. All right, let's keep going with some of this stuff. I feel like if I get stuck answering too many questions, I'm just gonna be bogged down here. But I just want to show you some other stuff here that's going on today because I know some of you are here for some of these updates. So let's jump back into this. I did think this was interesting. In December 2023, an anonymous user predicted Bitcoin would hit an all-time high cycle peak on October 6, 2025. Yesterday's Bitcoin hit all-time highs October 6, 2025. So some people are speculating that maybe Bitcoin just hit its all-time high. Some people are speculating it's going to go higher. We'll have to see. Here's Anthony Pomp on Bitcoin. Let me just play it.
Bitcoin is the very simple story. They are never going to stop printing money, so therefore Bitcoin will never stop going up. And if you simply think of Bitcoin as savings technology, all you have to do is go out, work hard at your job, make money, spend less than you make, and then put the extra savings into Bitcoin, and then allow Bitcoin to benefit from what we know is going to happen, which is they are never going to stop printing money. And I think that that simplicity is actually very attractive to some cohort of investors. And I see investors saying, wait a second here, this quote unquote debasement trade means that I don't have to go do all that work. I can simply just go and buy something like Bitcoin. And I think that really maybe the story of finance of this decade is that Bitcoin is becoming the hurdle rate, right? Historically, we've looked at things like the S&P. If you go back to 2020, the S&P is up 100% since 2020. Priced in Bitcoin is down 90%. All of the returns that people are talking about in traditional finance, most of them are negative because no one can beat Bitcoin. And so if you can't beat it, then we just say you got to buy it. And I think that's what a lot of investors are starting to do.
All right, there you go. That's what Palm thinks is going to happen. I did think this was a clip that I wanted to show you guys because I know a lot of you are looking for opportunity in the crypto space. And often when I'm looking for opportunity in the crypto space, I'm following liquidity. And right now, liquidity is moving to Binance. And so I wanted to play this for you.
One thing that I'll say for sure is that there's a lot of people that are very, very opposed to bridging to different chains and stuff. And it's because what'll happen is they'll get on Solana and they'll see this and they just get super used to this and like having their wallets and everything. And then they'll only want to trade on Solana, but then there will be volume that pops up on Binance. And then you get an insane 200 mil market cap runner that is being shilled by CZ and people don't want to bridge. You get Aster, which is obviously being shilled by CZ as well, and people just don't really like to bridge. I understand it, like it's different and everything. Throughout the time that I've been in crypto, I have gone from trading NFTs on ETH to meme coins on ETH to then trading like gaming NFTs and then Solana NFTs, and then there was Friend Tech, which was like a social fi thing, and there was a lot of money to be made on that. On ETH, there were casino coins, there was trading bots, like there's just so much different stuff, and it's like you kind of have to just bounce around to different places. And the thing is it doesn't really matter where you make money. Like you can trade on any chain. Like you don't have to be attached to one chain. And oddly enough, the more friction there is to getting people on to another chain, the more that being early helps you make money on whatever that is. Like if you look at this right here, this was sitting at like 15 mil for almost like a full day, and then it pumped to 200 mil, and it was because nobody wanted to bridge.
All right. And then this is what liquidity is looking like right now in the crypto space. As you can see, money is pouring out of Solana, out of Ethereum, out of Arbitrum, some out of Base here. A lot of it's going and heading over to BNB right now. So if you're looking, like if you're more of a, trying to find the next kind of thing to go from a few million to a few hundred million, you should be looking towards BNB right now. There is opportunity in the space. I'll leave it at that. All right. Let's keep going here. You guys see this news? BNY Mellon has reportedly been exploring tokenized deposits to support blockchain payments as a part of a pivot to instant real-time cross-border rails. I did a video on this earlier. I thought this was an interesting topic. I mean, BNY Mellon is now $55.8 trillion under custody. With deposits, it's about $368 billion, if my memory serves me correctly. BNY is a custodian for other banks, like banks custodian their assets at BNY. And BNY is the custodian for RLUSD. BNY has done proof of concepts in the past with Ripple. And people are speculating that if BNY does move forward with some type of tokenized deposits, that maybe Ripple or XRP would be involved. Now, BNY has also done things with Ethereum. So just want to put that out there. But if you're interested in hearing and learning more about that, I have a video that's coming out probably tomorrow morning, first thing, like when you wake up. So if you want kind of the full rundown, the 15 minutes, me kind of going into every single detail, that'll probably be a good place for you to do that. What's up, Big Shrimp? Good to see you, dude. How's it going? See here. Let me just see what's going on here in the chat. Tom, never apologize. Oh, that's the good Tom. Remember last week? Oh my goodness, that was so funny. We had the other Tom, and then we had the good Tom. The good Tom was so worried about being banned or put on timeout that he became a member of the channel just to show that. That was super funny. Game of Cats. What's up, Game of Cats? Hello, Sensei. Swear I won't talk about the rich this time. You're good, man. You can talk about whatever you want, Game of Cats. Good to see you, man. There's less than 100 billion XRP left on exchanges. No, I don't think that's true. As of a few days ago, I think like I was watching a here, let's just see how much XRP is really left on exchanges. Not XRP that is spoken for, but available. I thought it was like it's anywhere from 2 billion to 3.5 billion still left to purchase. I mean, I know that like I've seen a Jake Claver clip where he's talking about less than 2 billion XRP left on exchanges. It's so hard to get that exact number. It's nearly impossible. But it is actually a little bit more right now because you have had some people selling XRP in like the last maybe few days here. One of the issues here that you're seeing more XRP hitting exchanges is the ETF delays or possible ETF delays, and which is crazy, right? I don't understand. Like people have come this far, and right now the SEC doesn't have essential personnel showing up to work because the U.S. government is shut down right now, and some of the ETF approvals are not making their way to the markets because of the shutdown. And so it looks like some people are panic selling a bit. But if you look at the whale activity, whales have been holding their XRP. And I think this is kind of more of like the skittish people selling in and out. So I think there's anywhere from like 2 to 4 billion on exchanges. And that could change obviously in a quick minute. All hype, there's a shitload of XRP. I mean, as far as like overall supply, there is a lot of XRP. You're absolutely right, Elliot. You're absolutely right. I think people overestimate how much XRP is actually available though. And like, if you get these ETF approvals, so man, this is going to lead me down a whole different rabbit hole of conversation and thought. But if you have like Stephen McClurg, who is the CEO of Canary Capital, he was in a recent Paul Barron interview. He said that he believes like you could get 5 billion or 3 billion or something in the first day or some kind of crazy number, right? You know, if you start to see those type of numbers, there's going to be a lot of XRP sucked off exchanges very quickly. The issue you have is retail, right? Retail only owns a few billion XRP, right? Who owns the rest of the XRP? I guess my thoughts are colliding here. Okay. We all talk about a market cap multiplier, right? And we know that market cap multipliers are these crazy large numbers currently for inflows and outflows because there's not enough liquidity, right? And as more liquidity comes on, that market cap gets reduced, okay? Right now, retail only owns a very small supply of XRP, right? Institutions own the rest of it. You have to understand, and I just made 2 videos about this because I had a lot of ideas on the subject and I just wanted to get those ideas out. But the price level that you or I are looking to get for XRP isn't the same price level that institutions are looking to get. And what I worry about is when people talk about a high market cap multiplier for 5 trillion, 10 trillion, 50 trillion. The thing that worries me there is, aren't the institutions going to want to sell some of that because they're going to be up a ton of money? Anyways, we're going to get lost in this conversation if I keep digging deeper here. But I don't know, just some thoughts here. Appreciate you, Sensei. Everything you do for us. Let's go. PK, thank you so much for the donation. Huge, man. Any donations, I don't know if people know this, but any donations to the channel, they go directly to our dog Luna. We go buy her some really tasty dog treats, and she thanks you. Trust me, she really does thank you. So I appreciate you, man. Sebastian, what's up, dude? Great to see you. Great to see you, dude. When government shutdown over, that's not up to me, brother. I think it's a very complicated situation. And I think both sides are very passionate about their views. And right now, there's really no end in sight, but that could change very quickly if one side decides to give in a little bit. They could come to a deal. From what I understand, the reason that you're having the shutdown is they can't agree on a budget. The left wants some money back for healthcare for people. And I don't know, man. It's a very complicated situation. I don't want to get into it too much because people are very passionate on both sides, and no matter where we go with this conversation, it doesn't end well. So it's going to continue for now, and as soon as we have some updates, good updates, I will let you know, my friend. But it is very, very complicated. Did you know about the digital ID and that XRP is involved? So are we talking about digital ID in like the UK? Where specifically are we talking about digital IDs? And give me some more information. I'd love to better understand what you're talking about there. In US, are you guys talking about that? Yeah, politics is never good in the chat. I try to avoid it. Hard to answer the government shutdown questions without giving some context though. So we're going to move on. All right, Tom, we're moving on. We're definitely moving on. Yes, I know Turk hates when I talk about it. So let's get back to the crypto, guys. We're all passionate about what we believe in. So let's just keep going. All right. So this was some collaboration. Of course, we did know during the summer, Ripple moved some of their RLUSD, right, the reserves, to BNY Mellon. And there was a proof of concept that Ripple was working on with BNY. I don't know if I have some of that here. Let me see if I can. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me get Lexi. Let me go to my search history really quickly. All right, let's see here. All right. Here you go. So BNY Mellon is exploring tokenized deposits and blockchain payments, signaling their interest in integrating blockchain technology into the traditional banking sector or traditional banking services. A proof of concept by BNY uses Ripple technology, specifically Ripple Connect software and Ripple Ledger Network, to improve cross-border payment efficiency and settlement processes, right? So the key word here, ladies and gentlemen, is settlement, right? You do have BNY working on tokenized deposits, and part of that is going to be settlement. We don't know specifically if this new thing that BNY is doing is in which blockchains that they are involved in. All we can do is look at the history in the past and try to come to a conclusion. Okay, and so the proof of concept aims to confirm benefits like expedited near real-time settlement, lowering processing costs, improve transparency, and certainty of fees for clients. Ripple and BNY have a formal business relationship. Ripple has selected BNY as the primary custodian for RLUSD. So there's not a lot there to know just yet, but it is interesting to see the largest custodian in the world going down this road. All right. Let's keep it going here.
XRP whales. We got to talk about XRP. But wait, it's bullish. DZ's going to be bullish. The whales have stopped selling. What do they know about XRP? We don't really know too much. But for most of September, CryptoQuant showed that a pattern of XRP outflows from the large wallets, steady selling pressure. But then the trend abruptly ended. After a month-long phase of distribution, the whale wallets have gone quiet. No notable sales, no large transfers to exchanges. The same pattern. Heavy selling, sudden silence, then sharp price move has appeared in several past market phases. And if we look, I do love the XRP chart. I would say it's a lot better chart than Cardano on the short term. It's just in this little symmetrical range. And then you can see it, kind of doing the same thing. This played out perfectly, folks. It could not have been more of a textbook breakout. And we've measured this one as well. I'm liking what I'm seeing. And also, we're kind of retesting the top part of the range right now. Oh, man, this morning, it was literally on the line.
All right. I wanted to play that clip just to show you that whales were, in fact, trying to hold We'll have to see how this plays out over the next few days. I did want to show you this. I should have had this earlier, but you know, that's the ADHD for you. BNB chain tops all blockchains in 24-hour fees. So this is where a lot of the volume is right now, guys. Like I said, BNB chain, pay attention to this. I did see this too. XRP is seeing the highest level of retail FUD since Trump tariffs were announced 6 months ago. There's been more bearish comments than bullish in the for the top past 2 to 3 days, which is generally a promising buy signal. Markets move opposite to small trade expectations. So I thought that was something that I wanted to just provide also context for you. S&P Dow Jones Crypto Market Index. This is now, you know, you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, XRP on here, Binance token, a few others. If you're not familiar with what this is, let me just show you this. The screenshot. So this screenshot here, this screenshot I threw into Lexi, and then it came up with this. The screenshot shows S&P Dow Jones Indices S&P Cryptocurrency Broad Digital Market Index as of September 30th, 2025 tracks 304 digital assets, including XRP, and provides statistics on market capitalization and index weightings. XRP is listed as one of the top 10 cryptocurrency by index weight, alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others. Why is this important? The S&P Cryptocurrency Broad Digital Market Index is designed to offer broad exposure to cryptocurrency markets, covering digital assets traded on recognized exchanges. Indices like this are used by institutions for benchmarking the performance of crypto portfolios, designing investment products, and bringing transparency to the digital asset sector. XRP's inclusion as a top asset means it's recognized among the largest, most liquid, widely traded cryptocurrencies. And so they're saying that it is good. It's institutional legitimacy, exposure to liquidity, benchmark of investment products, and transparency and data. So good to see that. I did think this was interesting though, right? Because we are seeing a slowdown in ETF approvals, but Eric Bohamis wanted to highlight this. Interesting, Canary just filed an S1 amendment for Litecoin and HBAR spot ETFs, which they included their fees, which are 95 basis points each, and the ticker LTCC and HBAR, which is typically the last thing updated before go time, which with shutdown, who knows? But these docs look pretty finalized to me. So it looks like some of this stuff might get approved here, but it's really hard to know. When I did research this, it says that the SEC wasn't approving many things right now because there's nobody there. So we'll have to see if this does get approved. This would be good news for XRP, because if they're still approving stuff with the government shutdown, we know that these ETFs should be approved soon, which is good to see. Brazilian real is live on the XRP ledger. I thought this was pretty cool. This is like a history being made. Here is, you can see on the right-hand side here, you have RLUSD and you have the Brazilian real. So big shout out to Brazil for getting this done. Brazilian real is officially gone live as tokenized assets on the XRP ledger, making a significant milestone for blockchain integration in traditional finance systems and enabling efficient, compliant, and fast digital transactions for both institutional and soon retail users. The first transactions of the Brazilian real on the XRP ledger have already taken place, facilitated by the launch of the Brazilian real stablecoin by Brasa Bank, a major Brazilian financial institution. It does say the Brazilian real stablecoin is pegged to the real and fully backed by Brasa Bank, with the initial rollout of institutional clients before the broader availability for businesses and consumers. The launch is part of a phased rollout anticipated to cover 30% of the Brazilian stablecoin market by 2026. So this one stablecoin on the XRP ledger in the real looks like it could cover 30% of the stablecoin market in Brazil by next year. That's pretty crazy. That's really crazy. Crypto Protege. Hey, Crypto Sensei. Thank you. Appreciate you. Crypto Protege, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the donation. It's huge, man. Huge. I did want to highlight something here, though. The team and I have been working on something behind the scenes, guys. And some of you might be interested in this. Some of you may not. Let me just bring this back. All right, hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. Don't hate on the photo here. We're gonna work on this photo. It's kind of I don't know. My team was trying to get creative. I don't know if that worked. But this is a new. This is a new. I don't want to call it community because it's really kind of there to, if you're interested in getting content without commercials, if you're interested in getting access to my research, if you're interested in supporting me and the team behind me that provides all of this content, 24/7, anytime we're awake, we're trying to build out and provide this content. This is not like a Cryptonaires where you actually have people in there actively trading and going back and forth. There is going to be some areas to chat and ask questions and talk and stuff like that. But this is mainly to get XRP updates live. This is to get alpha directly from me. You can kind of cut through the misinformation. This is like my perplexity searches as I'm doing research in the day. That will be posted in here as I am doing it. So, if people really want to kind of cut through the red tape and want access to real-time information, don't have to wait for the next day for videos to come, this is going to be a really unique way to support me and the team. If you're interested in doing this, I'll post the link. There's also a link in the description. It's $25 a month. And let me know what you think. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. I wanted to be able to offer just XRP content, more content. And our team works extremely hard finding all this content. And I know some people want the content like now, and they want to learn, or if they're trying to catch up, right? They just started learning and they want to ingest as much content as they possibly can. And this will also give you a good understanding of kind of how I think, how I'm researching, what am I looking at? Yeah. What's up? What's up, Curtis? Good to see you, man. All right, let's see here. Maui Vice and Jerky. Are we talking? Is this dog treats? Are we talking about dog treats? Brazil. I'm in Brazil. Game Club Verso. What's up, Game Club Verso? Nice to see you. So, N2S says, should I sell my house and my car to buy XRP? That is a very complicated question, man. And you definitely need to speak with like a financial advisor. You cannot ask like a regular random YouTuber, should you make those, like, you probably shouldn't do those things. You probably shouldn't do those things. I know that we all are trying to buy as much XRP as we can, right? And there are some people that have done those things, right? But like, those are some giant leaps to take in your life, and you definitely should talk to somebody about before you do those things. I get why you want to, but like sometimes things don't work out the way that we think it's going to. That's so complicated, man. I do wish you all the best, and I'm a little nervous for you, but I get why you want to. I get why you want to, and I'll admit that if I probably like I've had similar thoughts. Like I go into my wife's closet, and I see like all of the purses I've bought in her over the last like 10 years that she doesn't use. And I'm like, should we just like liquidate some of these purses? Like, should I liquidate some jewelry? Like I've always had these thoughts. And it's like, you know what? When you're starting to do these things, you probably shouldn't be, right? And so I always have to like pull these thoughts back and say, hey, take a deep breath. You have enough, and you just gotta talk to somebody, man. That's a very complicated question. Have you thought to do live streams 3 days a week? I have thought about it. Yeah. I think changing the times I do live streams would probably be better. Maybe moving them back a little bit for the US audience. I know that would kind of suck for people on the other side of the pond or other side of the world. Timing is very complicated. I know there are some very popular people that stream. I think it's like Monday and Wednesday. And so like I stream on, I guess like my days are Tuesdays and Fridays to have the community, and Jake streams on Mondays and Wednesdays. I have thought about it though. I have thought about it. It's just like, it'd be a lot. It'd be a lot to take on. Because like you gotta imagine that you know, I'm making 3 videos a day right now. I have the community of Cryptonaires. I have this other thing. I already don't like have enough time for like my personal life, you know, and things that I want to do with that. And so it would be very complicated to do that. But I have thought about it. The Art of Read. What's up, man? Thank you for checking in. Great to see you. Jake Mons Wednesday, Zach Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, it would be hard to like, I don't know, man. I think you know, everybody has kind of who they want to follow. I don't know, man. I don't think I'd probably beat Jake's numbers. Jake, a lot of people really show up for his stream and support his stream. And, you know, I mean, we have 812 people here, 575 on X and 240 on YouTube. So, you know, we don't even come close to what Jake's pulling in. And I think, you know, people would probably rather show up and listen to him than listen to me kind of jargon on. But, you know, he's built a pretty good platform, man. I'll give him that. David says, I just bought 10K at 288 and I have 20K to spend. Should I wait and get more lower? 260, 270? How low can XRP go? David, like the market is a little crazy right now because of what's happening here in the United States. Whenever I'm trying to get into a position and I'm trying to put a lot of money into something quickly, I often try to DCA, right? Where if I'm trying to put $20,000, I'll often maybe do 5,000 now, see if it'll dip a little bit, go another 5,000, things like that, right? And I think, you know, we all want to see, if we're just starting to get in, we all want to buy it at the lowest point possible. I can tell you that I have seen people on hundreds of occasions set benchmarks that they just never reach. Like they're off by a penny. What I mean by that is maybe in your head, you're like, I want to buy at 270 or 268. The price comes down to like 271 and you miss that opportunity, right? So, you know, DCing is often the best strategy that I've seen people use. But you know, you're not crazy to want the best deal, man. And I think that's probably the best way to do it. All right. AK Scarface, man, thank you so much for the donation. David, thank you so much for the donation, man. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. World War III, get XRP to $500, man. Like the world is kind of going towards that way. It feels like, right? It's a little uncomfortable, right? And we don't really know what's going to happen over the next few months here. I think there's a lot of countries preparing for all out war. I'd say like France, Poland, Finland, those type of countries, you know, they're getting really worried. I don't know, man. Rob says set buy limits and sleep comfortably. Rob, that's good advice, man. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. Scarface, thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate that, dude. Yeah, you guys will have to let me know about the dojo here. You know, I don't know about the photo, man. It's not good. It's kind of strange. Maybe it's cheesy enough. Let me know if you guys are interested in that community. All right. I did think this was kind of cool. I wanted to show you guys this. Let me pull this up. Let's see. Hold on. What is this? Tivian says, you arrived late. Admit that many people spoke to you and told you to buy XRP, convert your junk fiat money into XRP. You didn't listen. And now it's going up. You come and you want to get in. Maybe that's to somebody in the chat. Seth, what's up, man? Great to see you. How's it going, dude? Oh, you know what? I did want to wish somebody. So Scott S., who's always in the chat. He's from the Big Island. He was in Honolulu yesterday. He reached out and we got some lunch together. I got to meet him and talk to him. Really, really cool guy. He's having surgery today. And so I wanted to wish Scott the very best. He probably isn't listening right now because he's just either getting through surgery or he's kind of recovering. But you know, my thoughts, my prayers, my support go out, and I wish you a speedy recovery, Scott. All right. And, you know, having some major surgery. So I want to wish him the best. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate you. It's the worst time selling. I'm selling a house, I'm selling a car, I'm selling a machine, I'm selling everything to buy more XRP. Man, I've had all of those thoughts. I've had all of those thoughts. It's not crazy. Like if you believe that the future of digital assets is mass adoption through financial institutions, it's not crazy, right? You look at the price of your house and it's probably going down a bit, right? And if you have collateral in that asset, you know, I've been in crypto so long, and even I'm looking like, my wife and I moved to Hawaii, back to Hawaii a few years ago, and we sold our house in the Bay Area because like I was like, the market is going to start going down here, and I'm glad we did. We sold at a good time, and I took the cash and I put it into the crypto market. So like the exact thing that you guys are talking about right now, I did that, right? And so that's why I'm kind of smiling, right? In the back of my head, I'm thinking like, these people did exactly what I was thinking. I get it. You know, it's not crazy. Just make sure that if you're going to do it, talk with a professional that's going to help you through that. All right. Pow, what's up, my man? Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. Javier says, hey, I'm from Chile. Nice work, Sensei. Javier, great to see you, dude. Jose says he's in Portugal and you don't hear people talking about XRP. Man, you know, there's not a lot of us out there, Jose. There's, I think like a total of like 7 million wallets, and most people own multiple wallets, right? If you have a Coinbase, if you have like a different exchange, and if you have like a wallet on your phone, if you have a decent wallet, you know, Ledger wallet, you might have 4 or 5 wallets, right? And so there's probably only like 2 or 3 million actual people in the world that own XRP. You know, there's not a lot of us. And so when you find somebody like you, you know, you should spend some time talking with them. Mary Bruce, thanks for all your help. I've learned so much on your channel. I really appreciate your hard work. Thank you, Mary. You got a really cool picture here with all these horses. Wishing you well, Mary. Thanks for being here. Game of Cats says 500,000 to 1 million people own XRP. Really? Is it that low? I mean, I believe it. Most people have only heard of Bitcoin. Yeah. You know, I think it's just because it's the first, right? And then like you had all of these people get really rich, like the early people get really rich. And I think people are looking for what's the next thing, right? And I think people are slowly trying to figure out. I mean, it's kind of crazy though. Could you imagine only like 500,000 people own XRP, but like there's 100,000 people that are subscribed to this channel? That means like one out of every 5 people that own XRP, you know, like are subscribed to this channel, which is crazy. I think it's probably a little higher. I think it's a little higher. I agree with your thought. Banks are going to fight us every inch of the way, so we must push them along. So banks are doing everything they can right now to stop innovation. They have to. They have to. I was doing some research on this. Let me see if I can find that research. Oh man, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Swift. It's going to be about Swift. Hold on. And it's how much money Swift is making. 1 second here. Oh yeah, here it is. Ha ha. Yes. I love when I find stuff when I'm looking for it. Okay. All right. Thank God this like it puts everything. Okay, so I saw these images online, okay? And so these images are how much wire transfers are, okay? Let me just make sure I'm showing everything here. So it's about wire transfers, all right? And so the fees, see the fees right here? $50, $16, $17.50. All right, let me go back here. And then here, you see these domestic transfers, international transfers, $25, $35, $40. All right. And then, of course, wire transfer fees up to $45. And then, of course, if it exceeds $3,000, they're going to start charging you 14 cents, 14%. That is 14%. That is 14%. They're going to start charging you if it goes over $3,000. Okay. So the interesting part here is, check this out. Swift processes 11.5 million wire transactions a day, which adds up to 3 billion transfers per year globally. Fees on these wires typically are around $17.50, sending and receiving from each bank, which averages about 27. Domestic wires can be about $27, and international wires can be $44. Okay, so let's just look at how much money we're talking about here. Swift handles $5 trillion a day, 1.25 quadrillion a year, with 11.5 million wires per day, 365 days. It's 4.2 billion wires per year. This is how much banks are making right now. $147 billion a year on your wire transfers. Okay. $147 billion a year is a lot to lose. All right. These banks are terrified right now because the reason they're able to stay in business is because they charge you a lot of money to move your money. And without that money, where do they fit in? Right? Obviously, we go to our banks because we either like the people that opened our account, we like their services, we like the feeling that our money is safe in that institution, right? We have a home loan, we have a student loan, a personal loan, whatever it is, right? We go to our bank usually because that's where we have a relationship. What does that relationship look like moving forward? Right? How are banks going to be able to keep you happy, keep you serviced, and offer you some of these lower rates to move your money? And this is where blockchain and the banks are colliding. Also, if you look at the average, like I also wanted to look here at some information. And I see some stuff in the chat. Let me just give me a second. I also wanted to look at average savings rate. Let me just average savings rate. Let me see. Oh, average. Let me see. Savings rate. Let me see if I can find this. No. Okay. Let me just go and do a fresh search here. I want to know what is the average savings and interest rate for bank accounts for normal people. All right. Because normal people and wealthy people have two different things here. Oh, let me just remove this comment down below. I appreciate the comment. But we're talking about big banks and institutions and how much money they make. All right. Here is the typical interest rate people are getting for their bank accounts. All right. Now let me show you this. Okay, hold on. Perplexity. What is the average stable coin rate? Proper is not the right word. What is the average stablecoin rate institutions are offering right now? So like Coinbase, USDC, etc. All right, let me show you this. All right, how are you going to compete? Right, the base interest rate. Okay, here. Most range from 6% to 12%. How are you going to compete? Why are people going to keep their money at your bank when you're offering them nothing to keep that money there? If you have $1 million, let's use 100,000. Okay, sorry, let's use $100,000. You have $100,000 and you leave it in your current bank. They're going to pay you $4,000 a month. Excuse me. They're going to pay you, 4%. Let's use $1 million. 0.4. That's going to be 4,000. If you're using $1 million, it's going to give you 4,000. 10% to your stablecoin companies, that's $100,000. That's $96,000 difference that you're going to be able to make per year on $1 million. $1 million is easier for me to what's it called? How are banks going to compete? This is why banks are on Capitol Hill right now trying to repeal parts of the Genius Act. Banks are worried banks were at the table for the discussions around the Genius Act and putting that together. Only now that banks are trying to pull back on some of this. They're really scared. All right. Let me see here. I think there was a did I miss a donation from Tom? I did. Tom here. For Luna Treats. My husky's name is Luna too. Oh, that's awesome. Can you give some thoughts on Flare? I know a lot of us are bullish and would appreciate your alpha and thoughts on it. Hey, Tom, thank you so much, man. And big shout out to your husky, Luna, too. I'd love to see some pictures. Definitely send me a picture. Hugo Fillion, the CEO of Flare, they've been working on the technology for a long time. And I've even thought that at some point, what if Ripple tried to buy Flare, right? That's just a side thought I had. But Flare is going to offer a yield on your XRP. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, institutions are going to be very interested in that, right? They're going to be looking for institutional level protection, institutional custody protection for those assets, right? Because banks are going to buy these assets and they're going to hold them for a long time, right? Because banks are not like you and I. They're not looking at buying a new house or a new car. They don't think like that, right? They're there for the legacy, for the next 100 years. And so they can look at the timeline of what am I going to do over this next 20 to 50 years to keep this bank where it is or grow this bank even further. And they're going to be able to make investments into infrastructure, investments into digital assets, and they're going to be able to use those digital assets to earn yields. And I think that's part of kind of what banks are going to have to do to kind of fight some of these fees and things like that they're going to lose. But I think Flare is going to be a vital piece of the puzzle going forward. You need to be able to lower the circulating supply of XRP. And the way that you do that is through DeFi layers through Flare, right? I know we haven't seen a major, price movement for Flare. It's been kind of stale, but I do think that they are just now getting started with a lot of the work that they've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years. And I don't think people should underestimate what Flare is capable of. There's a lot of really smart people working behind the scenes. And I think it's going to do really well. Thank you for the donation, Tom. I hope that was a good enough answer for you. If not, send me an email and I'll try to give you some more information. All right. Luna to Luna for sure. I appreciate that. I really do. She's sleeping right now, but I'll bring her up here in just a little bit. Oh, it's okay. Great to see you, man. How you doing? Do you think we'll have a regular cycle or extended? So Tim, that's a great question. It feels like right now we'll have a little bit of extended cycle. The reason I say that is I'm really not in the wagon that we're just going to have a cycle that goes up for the rest of our lives, right? Just never comes back down. I always think you're going to have adjustments, bear markets. You look at the stock market. The stock market's a $60 trillion market in the United States. Over the last 100 years, they've had like 28 bull markets and 25 bear markets, right? And I think a bear market is defined anything that drops 20% below the average or whatever, an adjustment of 20% from the last all-time high. Now, I think you're always going to have black swan events. I think you're always going to have events that are out of our control, maybe wars or some type of an attack or just things that we can't foresee. We know that these things are probably going to happen, but we don't know when and where those things are going to happen. I always think that those will have some type of effect on the market. But if you're looking at the next like 10 years, I believe the crypto market is going to go from a $4 trillion market to a $100 trillion market. How we get there, is it just going to be straight up, or are we going to have these adjustment periods? I believe we're going to have these adjustment periods. Now, I still think we're all speculating on whether this asset should be $2 or this asset should be $3. I don't think we've really reached a point where we're at institutional level adoption yet, but we're very close to that. The piece that's missing is regulation, and that should be here within the next maybe 30 to 60 days. Now, regulation is going to take some time to weed its way through. It's one thing to get it in front of the president and have him sign the bill. but often regulation takes, anywhere from 18 months, 12 to 18 months to enact. After regulation is pushed through, then the SEC and the CFTC and other regulators will set, certain things about that regulation to solidify that regulation for institutions. But that's still going to take some time. Now, in that time, will we see a dramatic increase on the value of some of these assets? Absolutely. I do think some of these assets will start being used on a scale that we still can't really comprehend. We think we know, but I still don't think people fully comprehend how big this is, this transition will be, right? Because you are talking about every transaction in the stock market, the bond market, the derivative market, the real estate market, the debt markets, the repo markets, everything is moving towards blockchain rails, right? Now, all of these markets won't all be on one chain because that wouldn't make much sense. It's going to be a collaboration and interoperability. That's why you always hear people like Brad Garlinghouse or David Schwartz or any of these, even the founder of Chainlink always talks about interoperability. That's key because all of these networks need to work together. You need to be able to have assets that can move across chain, right? You need to have liquidity that can move across chain. And how long is that going to take for that to move on chain? So to simplify your question of is it going to be an extended, I got a little carried away there. Is it going to be an extended cycle? I do think we're going to go into 2026 here, but I do think there's some really choppy water right now in the United States that we don't know how this is going to turn out here. Now, if you look at how do I go down this road without going down this road? This is going to be difficult. There are reports of jobs numbers not being great. There are reports of some states already in some type of recession. There are some reports, that farmers are going to need a bailout, and all of these things are happening in the United States. Those things are going to affect people's bottom line. People are not going to have as much money to invest into markets if they're trying to, regular people are trying to pay their bills. So how is that going to impact the market in 2026? Now, in the short term, lowering rates is going to put more fuel on the fire. People are going to go borrow and dump into gold, dump into stocks, dump into crypto, but the stock market is already at some all-time highs here, right? You start to wonder when that's going to, start to adjust. And so a lot of people believe the first few months of 2026 might be good, but I do think that in 2026, there is going to be some type of adjustment. Now, is that a full-blown bear market? I don't know. Is that Bitcoin dipping 30, 40% and the rest of our alts dipping? That could possibly play out. I don't think you can rule it out. But, it's a very complicated question without getting too much in the weeds. Whew, spicy. All right. Let me just show you some stuff here. All right. This is what I was talking about. The U.S. stock market capitalization to GDP ratio. Let's just take a look at this really quickly. Is up to a record 221% since the April low. This metric has risen a whopping 58 percentage points. It's also 4.6 times higher than it was in the 2008 financial crisis low. To put this into perspective, this metric peaked at 142% during the 2000 dot-com bubble. This ratio has now remained above its long-term average of 87% for 13 years. All right? We are on a massive, massive bubble right now. The U.S. market bubble has grown to historic levels. The U.S. stock market cap to M2 money supply ratio has crossed above 300% for the first time since the 2000 dot-com bubble peak. In other words, the market is now 3 times larger than the liquid money in the economy. This is mind-blowing, right? The U.S. household wealth has never been more dependent on the S&P for performance, right? So if you get some type of adjustment in the stock market, that is going to massively negatively impact all of the people that have money into the markets right now. All right. Now, I do think this could be an opportunity for the crypto market. If, in fact, the stock market does adjust, Where do you think some of those people are going to put some of those profits? That could help us roll into 2026. Remember, you always get this like pump up in the crypto market and the stock market right before the end of the year. You often have people taking massive profits for taxes and those types of things before the end of the year. So look for those adjustments happening. They happen every single year. We'll have to see how that plays out. What do you think about Jake's prediction on XRP? I think Jake is a very smart guy. I think Jake is a brilliant person. I think that his prediction, you need a lot of really bad things happening at the same time. Now, can one or two of those things happen? Can the carry trade in Japan unwind? It probably will, right? Is that going to happen in the time frame before the end of the year? I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, right? Maybe talk to Jake. Is Tether going to implode? Are people going to rush out of Bitcoin to buy XRP? I don't know. I don't know. I really want him to be right, but I don't know, man. I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I could tell you. Let me see. Hold on, let me see. Jay Claver's domino theory. What is each step and where are we currently with that step actually happening? All right, let's take a look here. All right, step by step here. So the Japan carry trade here. Japan leads the G7 in digital currency rollouts in the market, recovers institutional capital flows to shift inward, threatening the U.S. Treasury holdings. Okay, and so like these things kind of fill together, right? Japan's market is strong, but no mass sell-off of Treasury yet has occurred. So Jake is predicting, and like he's the one with the theory here. So what I think he's talking about here, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's going to be a sudden rush on the Treasury market where Treasuries are going to be dumped. U.S. Treasuries are going to be dumped. Japan is the largest holder of U.S. debt. And if something happens with Japan's economy, that they could start dumping Treasuries pretty hard. And if Japan starts to dump Treasuries, right, China, UK, and other countries might follow suit. And that could depeg Tether. I think that's kind of what he's saying. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think that's part of what he would think to happen. U.S. Treasury market shock. If Japan and possibly China and others sell U.S. Treasuries and debt, the confidence may falter, causing instability and dumping by stakeholders. So kind of what we just explained. U.S. yield curves remain inverted, and the stress signs significantly unwinding by Japan has not yet happened, but the risks are elevated and institutional focus is on U.S. debt volatility. So another thing here too is if this does play out, right, it would be pretty bad for markets. I think we can all agree any type of financial crisis is bad for markets because all of these markets are really interconnected, right? The U.S. market is connected with Japan, Japan with the U.S., and the UK, other countries in Australia. Like everybody is buying each other's debt, each other's currencies, right? And it's kind of like a tinderbox. And so if these things start to collapse, right? If these things do happen, it could be good for XRP and their holders, but it would be bad for everybody else. I think we can agree on that, right? So like I am rooting for a high price for XRP, but I am not rooting for a total collapse of some of these financial institutions and markets, right? Like that would be catastrophic for a lot of people, right? You got to think like who in your family owns stocks, who in your family owns bonds, right? If you start to lose 20, 30, 50% in the bond market, that could be really bad. Disruption in stablecoins triggers sudden dramatic moves on Bitcoin. So disruption in stablecoins. So what this is basically saying, right? So Tether, we don't know because Tether hasn't really been able to provide a real audit showing what their stablecoin is backed by. We know that it's partly backed by or mostly backed by U.S. Treasuries. So if there is an issue with the U.S. Treasury market, Tether is obviously going to be the biggest loser there. If their stablecoin depegs, there could be a massive rush out of Tether and into maybe XRP, right? So that is one of the steps or one of the dominoes. Okay. Now, is Tether collapsing yet? No, we haven't had this shift. Like, you have to have this first domino to get the rest of these dominoes, right? Or that is the theory. Stock market sell-off, XRP's role. Major crypto losses force institutions to liquidate equities, intensifying market sell-offs and chaos. Rapid institutional moves to safe, scalable rails like XRP for cross-border. So that's kind of the final step there. I mean, keep an eye on Japan. Like, that's the first domino that needs to drop. Also, I believe like oil needs to go through the roof too, and that could lead to some of this too, right? So keep an eye on oil as well. It's hard to root for that. Very hard to root for that. Because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, this could be bad for a lot of people. It could be bad. Tom says Jake's predictions have been slowing down and shrinking. Still a smart man. Yeah, you know, I think it's hard to say. Like, I see some people say all these predictions and all these things were a way to get people looking at Jake and his business and getting XRP and these types of things. I don't know if that's the case. I think Jake generally cares and wants to see the XRP community do well. Like, I think he truly loves the XRP community and he wants to see good things happen. And, you know, there's a lot of people that believe he has insider knowledge and all these different things, which he probably does, right? But like, he doesn't control markets, you know, and I don't know, man. We're gonna see how it plays out. You know, if he's wrong, it's not the end of the world, man. Like, everybody has a prediction. Most people are wrong. But you know, we're a few months away. We'll see. You know, I'm rooting for him to be right in a way, but I'm also scared of like the consequences of him being right. So we'll see, dude. 1,500 now? No, stop it. It was 750. It was 750, right? It changed? Yeah, see, like, this is the way most people feel. This is the way most people feel. And this is the right way to feel, I believe. Definitely the right way to feel, my opinion. Oh, wait, is that Nicole? Is that Nicole? Johnny 9 says Jake says 750 by the end of the year. That's so unrealistic. Why are you glazing him as a smart person with such a prediction? I honestly believe Jake's heart is in the right place, and I believe he's a really smart person. I mean, he's got 200 million XRP. He's launched like 7 businesses. You can't say he's not a smart person, right? I think he's highly intelligent. Highly intelligent. He made a prediction. I don't think he realized how big his prediction was going to get, but we're here now and we're talking about it almost every stream, right? So it's had what he intended or didn't intend to do. We're here talking about it, right? Almost every time I come on. So it's worked. People know his name. People know his company. 4,000 people tune into his live streams live. 30,000 people watch it within the first hour or first day. It's all worked. You know, you can't hate on somebody for chasing their passion. And I think this is what he truly believes. I'm not gonna say anything negative about that. If Jake's right, I want to know how legit the slap is in the face becomes. Like, who's going to slap who? Japan will catch a weather weapon earthquake. Oh man, we're starting to get off the rails. What company is that does all those kind of weather? Oh God, it's a certain company, right? They're like 20 years in front. Anyways, let's not get too down into the weeds on this. Tom says, more treats for Luda. Do you think XRP will still dip big as the altcoin season ends? Sorry, I know, not fun question. I personally think it'll sell half and hold. Surprises coming in the years. So like, this is the hard part, Tom. I don't know where you live, and I don't know what the taxes are like where you live, and I don't know when you bought your XRP, but you got to pay a lot, right? The government's going to want their share. The state's going to want their share. How much is that going to cost you? At this point, you know, there's a lot of people believe that the price is going to spike up. People will get out. The price is going to fall, and that's when it goes. I don't know if that's going to happen, dude. I'm more inclined to just not sell my XRP. You know, yes, the market could go up to $10 and you could sell half and it'd go back down to $3, and then maybe it was a good buy. But like, often people that try to time markets often get it wrong, right? And I don't know, even if you're like 80% from the top, and then you got to pay 30 or 40% in taxes, unless XRP goes down to like $2 or like, you know, less than that, you might not be able to get back in the way that you think you will. But I'll leave that with you, man. You have a plan. I just like, I know personally that if I start doing these types of things that, you know, I could get the timing wrong, and then I would never forgive myself. I would never forgive myself. If I get more of an opportunity to add more XRP at lower levels than this, I will think of that as an opportunity. And I will do everything that I can to buy more personally. But thank you so much for the donation, man. I really appreciate you. So altcoin season. So usually, if you look back in history, often Bitcoin and Ethereum top out in October and November. That's like their highs. XRP, I think in like 2021 topped out in January, which was a little strange. But often like the highs of a lot of altcoins peaked in like October, November, December, right? And I would imagine that's probably how it's going to play out. Now, could we still get a rush and a run, you know, early 26? That could possibly happen because you're going to have crypto regulation coming in. You're going to have institutions possibly wanting to buy into ETFs. Like there's a big, we didn't have this last time or the time before. So it's really hard to use past experiences and say this is exactly what's going to happen because, you know, things are a little different. So it's really hard to justify, man. Really hard to know. Nicole in the house. Is that water cooler, Nicole? I think it is, right? I think that's water cooler, Nicole. Yeah, I don't listen. I think a lot of people would be really happy with $50. I think a lot of people are really happy. So like, hold on, let me do this. I need to grab some water because I've been talking a lot. I want to play a clip. Let me go grab water, and then I want to get into something because I stumbled onto some stuff this weekend. I spent the whole weekend on my computer. I want to show you what I was digging into. I want to see what you guys think of it. All right. See if like I'm totally crazy about this or maybe I'm onto something. But let me just go get some water real quick. Let me play something for you. Let me see. What do I have to play for you? Hold on. All right. Let me just play this clip here about banks and institutions. All right. I'll be right back. Be right back.
There's now one more piece of legislation that, as you said, got bipartisan support in the House already and now is being debated in the Senate. And this is what we call market structure legislation, which just simply means it's covering all of the non-stablecoin crypto assets, things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's resolving some of these outstanding issues from the last administration that got weaponized by people like Gary Gensler trying to go after the crypto industry because it wasn't clear, were these a commodity, were they a security? So this legislation is making great progress. I've never been more bullish on the chances to get it passed into law. This freight train has left the station, and there's people on both sides of the aisle in the Senate that are eager to get this legislation put on the books. Now, this hasn't stopped the big bank lobby from coming in trying to throw a wrench into things. They actually want to go in and ban rewards on stablecoins, and that was already settled in the prior Genius Act that I just mentioned. But I'm not too worried about it. The senators we spoke to aren't really going to entertain reopening that issue, and so hopefully this legislation gets passed into law. very.
Oh, you know what? Tomorrow, I'm going to be interviewed by Paul Barron tomorrow. Finally, it's happening. It's finally happening. That should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to jump in there. All right, let me show you this. Comes back with a Red Bull. I didn't come back with a Red Bull. I've had this drink here. I stopped drinking Red Bull. I was getting a lot of shit in the comments for drinking Red Bull, so I stopped drinking it. Hold on. Let me find these clips here. Man, why does my computer do this? I hate that. Hold on. Where is it? Okay. Nope. Here it is. Oh my goodness. I'm going to kill somebody. Hold on. All right. I don't know. My thing keeps closing to a small window and it's messing with me. Okay. So here, let me pull this up here. Okay. Here, I'm going to show you two clips. And then I'm going to show you some of this research. Okay. I put this in a video recently, but this is what I was spending my weekend doing. So if you get any value, please let me know. All right. Let me show you this. Okay. Okay, so just to set this up real quick. FedNow is America's new payment system. Okay? FedNow took a very long time to develop and deploy. They were working on FedNow in 2017, right? The initial stages, right? Faster Payments Task Force, you guys remember that. They started developing FedNow in 2019 to 2020. It's like 19 to 20, 21. FedNow launched in 23. Now it's end of 25. Okay. FedNow, let me play this first and then I'll get into FedNow. All right. So this is Trump. This is back in July.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after I really met you for the first time? The Genius Act provides banks, businesses, and financial institutions a framework for issuing crypto assets backed one for one with real US dollars, treasury bills, and other cash equivalents. It's really strengthening the dollar and giving the dollar great prominence.
Okay, now listen to this. Listen to this one.
An executive order for your attention relating actually to government payments. Historically, checks issued by the Treasury are, I believe, 14 times more likely to become the subject of fraud than electronic transfer payments. This is an executive order that's going to push the Treasury Department to modernize its payment system to ensure that where possible, they're using electronic methods of payment as opposed to paper checks in order to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse in the government, which is obviously an endeavor that we've been pursuing in numerous aspects of government under your leadership.
It's basically modernization of equipment and methods. And it's something that really, I think he's going to be a great Secretary of the Treasury wanted.
Okay. He talks about Scott Bessent. All right. So I laid this all out in a recent video that I did, but I went down this rabbit hole. Okay. Because what I want you to understand here is FedNow isn't a blockchain payment infrastructure. Okay. I've seen multiple clips of Trump saying that they're updating the financial system to include blockchain technology. Okay. FedNow is not blockchain. FedNow is a centralized system with the Federal Reserve that banks are connected to, and the Federal Reserve handles those payments. Okay. It's about, I think it's 20 cents and it's near instant, but it isn't blockchain. Okay. So it took them 4 to 6 years to deploy FedNow. If the Trump administration wants to launch a new payment system and they don't want to wait 4 to 6 years, how would they do that? No, Nicole, can you hear? Okay. You can hear me though, right? You can hear it? Show me the money. I can't hear anything. Which clip could you not hear, Nicole? That's not helpful if nobody can hear. Why Coach JV is in the video? I don't know. It was Coach JV's video, dude. I can't tell you, bro. Yeah, you should be able to adjust the volume. Turn up the volume? Okay. Well, shit. It's going to be loud. If you want me to turn up the volume. Okay. I am going to turn up the volume again. This is going to be very loud, though. So if it's already loud for you, it's going to be very loud. Turn your volume down right now because this is going to get loud. All right, one more time. Here you go. Okay. All right, I gotta turn this down now. All right, if you couldn't hear the clip, I don't know what to tell you. It's very loud on my end. I don't know why you can't hear it if you can't hear it. Anyways, and I wasn't sharing the right screen. I'm sorry. Listen, the part of the clips, the reason I'm showing the clips is there's been multiple clips of Trump talking about a new payment system. Okay, and it's not Fed now. Okay, so my thought here, and maybe you know, it's easier for me to just you know, if you need to go watch the video, go watch the video. But if you're trying to launch a new payment system and you want to launch it very quickly, there's no way the federal government is going to be able to do that by themselves. Okay? Can we hear it now? Can't hear it in Ohio? Oh my God. My voice is gone? I don't understand why people can't hear it. We can hear you. You guys are killing me, dude. You guys are killing me. Okay. Okay, let's get back to this before we get too distracted here. Trump and his administration have said multiple occasions that they're upgrading the financial system. Okay. If it took the administration, if it took the prior administrations 4 to 6 years to do FedNow, how do you think they're going to launch a new blockchain-based payment infrastructure quickly? They're not going to be able to do it alone. Okay. And so my research, I started going down this rabbit hole. Okay. I wanted to better understand a few different things. One of them was FedNow. So here, look, it took the United States several years to plan FedNow. Okay. The Federal Reserve announced its intention to build it in 2019 with 100 institutions. Early 2020, it launched in July 2023. It took 4 to 6 years. So there's going to be no way for the US government to launch a new federal infrastructure quickly. Okay. And so I started kind of digging into this. So my thought here was, could the government use a private company's technology could Ripple create their own version of RippleNet for the US government? That is where my mind was going, right? I also, and maybe this is not ideal because I don't have the whole thing here, but listen, we saw this meeting here with Casey Craddock. She is the UK CEO, managing director, UK of Europe and Ripple. Okay. Her Coinbase, Circle, Ripple, Scott Bessent, Rachel Reeves, they were all in this kind of like collaboration, transatlantic meeting in England, okay, in Downing Street. Let me show you. To coincide with President Trump's visit to the UK last week, I had the honor of attending the roundtable in Downing Street with the UK Chancellor Rachel Reeves and the US Secretary Scott Bessent, with representatives from a number of leading UK and US financial crypto firms. There's a huge opportunity for closer cooperation between the US and UK on digital assets, right? So my also thought was, if the United States was building a new payment system, it would need to be able to interconnect with the UK. It would need to interconnect with Australia and all of our other trading partners, Japan. And so I started to kind of going down this rabbit hole of like, how could the US get a new payment system? And that led me to maybe Ripple designs it or gifts them a payment system. So a company like Ripple could provide its technology, including RippleNet and the XRP Ledger protocol, to the US government in several ways. And gifting a version is plausible and increasingly discussed scenario as government private sector blockchain adoption accelerates. Recent developments suggest Ripple's leadership is open to XRP and associated tech being included in US government infrastructure, especially as XRP is now a part of the government's digital reserve strategy. How a technology gift could work: gratis vendor. Instead of the conventional sale, Ripple could grant code access rights or even standing infrastructure to the government without an upfront purchase, especially if the goal is system-wide adoption with regulatory clarity. This contribution approach could help fast-track public integration and reduce procurement complexities. So anyways, the whole thought here was, you know, how could the US government launch a new payment system? Anyways, I did two videos about all of this. They're coming out there. I think one of them's already out. Came out maybe yesterday or today if you're interested in learning about this. But I don't know. I went down this like 8 or 9 hour rabbit hole of trying to figure out all of this and try to better understand like what could the US do. And it kept leading me back to Ripple, because if you look at like the meetings that Ripple has been in with the US government, like that transatlantic partnership with the UK, that was an interesting meeting, right? You just had Coinbase, Circle, Ripple, and a few others there with some of the biggest financial institutions. Like, you start to wonder, is there more going on behind the scenes than we know? And like, if the United States were to upgrade to a blockchain infrastructure, do you think they're going to use Ethereum that's based in like Switzerland, right? They're not going to use Ethereum. Ethereum is not a settlement asset, right? You need something that could do domestic and international payments, as well as something that our partners trust. So I don't know. I kind of went down this really deep rabbit hole, but I'll come back to reality here. Look up rich tech robots. I don't know what rich tech robots are. I'm afraid to look it up. You guys think it's going to go back down to $2? Government shutdowns are the best. It's pretty bad. $2. I don't think XRP is going to $2, y'all. Y'all are crazy. Absolutely on spot. Trump just signed with a Canadian company to mine copper ore. Show me the money. Y'all are wild. Are you trying to get me to rage quit? Is that what's going on here? You guys are wild. All right. Any questions? I feel like we don't need a spin here. You guys have any questions you would like me to answer? While you're getting those questions, let me grab somebody. You want to say hello? Did you have a good nap? You okay? Are you hiding? Don't like the camera, huh? This is Luna. She was sleeping, but she's awake now, right? What are we doing? Crazy? You okay? She just wanted to say hello, right? Can you see yourself on the screen? Yes, you can. Who's that? Was that you?
All right. People are wanting to say hi to you. Luna awakens. All right, here, come on, go lay down. I'll be there in a second. I love you. All right. Thank you, Chaka. Appreciate that. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow. I don't know how long it's gonna take for the interview to air or whatever, but should be a good conversation. I'm real like I think out of all the people that I've either interviewed or been interviewed by, that's probably something that I'm really proud about, and I'm really excited to see how that turns out. Thank you, Beth. Appreciate you. Great to see you. Talk about the Paul Barron thing. What, like me being interviewed by Paul? It's happening tomorrow, like in the afternoon, my time. He works some crazy hours, man. He's a crazy hard worker, that guy. Your Luna snoring? Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. He asked me like a bunch of topics that I think I'm qualified to speak on, or that I know something about. And so I would imagine it's going to be about Ripple, XRP, institutional adoption, regulation, maybe AI. I don't know. We're going to have to see how all of it goes. Do you know of any companies that will ensure a staking? Ensure? I'd imagine there's probably some. Are there any companies that do insurance for crypto staking? Let's see. Yes, there are companies and platforms that offer insurance specifically for crypto staking. Some of these companies are Munich Re, Block Damon, Risk Strategies, Coinbase, and Binance. Crime insurance. Obviously you need to research all of these companies, but let me see. Let me share this with you. Share. Anyone with the link, copy link. There you go. Paul Barron is so informative. Good for you. Yeah, Princess, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I don't know. Am I a little nervous? Maybe, but nervous is good. I don't know what he's going to ask or what we're going to talk about, but I'll do my best. No, I sound like a chipmunk again? No. 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 Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Testing? Testing. You messed. I don't sound like a chipmunk. Man, Curtis, you had me freaked out. You had me freaked out. Hold on here. Let me see. Which one was it? I can't remember which button it was. Oh, I have a show recommendation. Have you guys watched Chad Powers? Let me show you this. This is my new favorite show. This is my new favorite show on Hulu. Go watch this show. Go watch Chad Powers. It's really good. Uh-oh. Yeah, Ariana's going to get you. Timeout for Curtis. I was really freaked out that you had that. I thought I was a robot. I can't remember which.
Is it this one? I don't know.
What about this one? Is this a voice disguise?
Chad Powers on Hulu. Yeah, go watch that. It's super funny. Super funny. Yeah, I know. I saw he's one of the coaches on the opposite team. Dude, that's one of my my Thaisa and I's new favorite show. My wife and I really love that. Boycotting Netflix? It's on Hulu. It's on Hulu. Do I have an LLC for my crypto? Yes, I do. Can you turn yourself into a talking potato? I don't know which button it was. One of these buttons turned me into like something crazy. I just don't know which one it was.
What about this one? It says monster. What does that sound like? Monster. Let me see. Hold on. I wonder what this one sounds like. Monster. Hold on, let's see here. It's like Darth Vader?
We're just gonna stop pressing buttons over here, okay? All right, that was good. That was good. Hola, what's up, hanging with snakes? That is a crazy name. Oh man, snakes make me uncomfortable. Yeah, demon voice. First strike, no mercy. You should talk like that on Paul Barron. I can't remember which one was the the monkey one.
This one says large robot. Large robot. Let me see here. All right, we're gonna take that off.
All right. I need to get some better better buttons. Do you think ETF will be pushed out until November? Nicole, hard to know. It really depends on the government. It sucks. I think they're gonna. I think a whole month of the government shutdown, there's going to be chaos. I don't think it makes it that far. But the last government shutdown happened under the first Trump administration. It went 35 days, so it could happen. I don't want to say it can't because crazy stuff has happened. But I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of upset people. So hopefully they can get this funding bill figured out and we can move forward. So Will Power says, I'm curious if there was any more on David's health. Rumors said he might be sick. So Will, I think when I was doing a live stream like about this news, somebody in the chat had said that they had heard David on a podcast mentioning, some health problems, but I haven't been able to confirm that. And like, I don't know if that's what it is. I do know that being the role of a CTO at any kind of major company, especially Ripple, I mean, you got to imagine the constant travel he's under. And I think David's always been a dreamer and a builder. And, I think part of it could be age and health. Part of it could be that he wants to do something else. Part of it could be he wants to spend time with family. And I think all of those things can be true.
You know, we just need to support him in this transition and wish him well in his health and all of that stuff. It might be easier to get an interview with him. I don't know. You know, now that he's not at Ripple. But I wish him all the best, man. You know, I want to see him do good. Oh, I did want to highlight something here really quickly. All right. Really quickly, guys, I need your help here. A prominent XRP channel, YouTube actually took this guy's channel down for a year. And it took a lot of the community speaking up and asking for his channel to be reinstated before they did it. And it took over a year. And so here is his channel. He's got about 1,600 subscribers. And he's done 111 videos. I would appreciate if you would support this person's channel. You know, I'm trying to just, you know, I thought it was terrible. He got his channel taken away. It's finally back up after a year. And I want to support other content creators in the community. So I believe this gentleman's name's Nick. If you go support, I really appreciate it. All right. Thank you, guys. You got to find the Yoda one. Dude, if there was a Yoda button, I would do a whole stream in the Yoda button. Can you please try to get an interview with David? That'd be huge. Mo, like I like an interview with David, interview with Brad. That's like on my bucket list, right? You know, I would love that. You know, I think it would be an incredible conversation. I don't know if I'd be able to keep up with David's intellect, you know, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. You know, who knows what the future holds. If the channel gets big enough, maybe he'll grant me that request. I don't know. Ripples in Wales. Damn, Curtis, you just like poking and prodding, huh? You can subscribe. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Inflow predictions, if accurate, could take XRP to $100 in 24 hours. I mean, you need a whole lot of money. Oh, thank you, Beth. I appreciate you. Matt, thank you for the question, man. You would need a lot of money to come in, and you would need the supply to really go freaking just through the floor. Could it happen? Absolutely. Could it sustain itself at $100? I think that's another question. Like, you might see the price go from like $8, $10 to 50 or 100 and then come back down very quickly, because you got to imagine, right? So like here's the problem. So let's just back up here. Okay. We're talking about XRP price. Now, I've done some content about this too, and it's talking about the market cap multiplier. Okay. Before Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs rolled out, there was some analyst that said that the market cap multiplier for Bitcoin and Ethereum would be like 25 to 50x. Okay. And what we saw during those rollouts was that institutions flooded the market with Bitcoin and Ethereum before the spot ETF was approved. Okay. So the whole mindset here is there's not enough XRP on exchanges. As XRP on exchanges depletes, it's going to send that market cap multiplier even higher, right? Until enough liquidity comes in. And so liquidity is going to come in a few different ways, right? It's going to come in through those ETFs, but it's also going to probably start to flood on from institutions, right? If Jake is right, and retail actually owns less than 2 billion XRP, Ripple owns, I think, 42 billion total. There's 35 billion in escrow, and Ripple has, I think, about 6 to 7 billion XRP that they bought additionally off the open market. All right. So you have 42 billion from Ripple. You have 2 billion from the community. That leaves 56 billion XRP unspoken for. Okay. And so let's look at the circulating supply of XRP right now. Let's say Ripple has 7 billion. Okay. Retail has 2 billion. That's 9 billion. Where's the other 45 billion XRP? It's 45 billion XRP unspoken for. Then it's institutions, right? Institutions have to own that XRP. If that's the case, what price point do you think those institutions are going to be taking profit? Do you think those institutions are going to say, oh, XRP is going $1,000, we're going to hold? They didn't do that with Bitcoin. They didn't do that with Ethereum. Why? Like, this is like what I'm thinking about in my head. Why is XRP special? Right? I mean, I know why it's special, but like, to institutions, do they care about central bank digital currency and settlement for the stock market and all of these things? Most of them are there to make profit for their customers. They're not there thinking about these types of things. I don't know. We'll have to see. Thank you guys who supported Ripple's channel. I really appreciate you. So Mo says, looking back on the Trump video of him speaking about upgrading the financial system, is XRP the clear top choice? So it's not XRP. You gotta remember this, okay? XRP is a decentralized blockchain. Okay. If the US were to do something, they would go to Ripple. Ripple would design a version of RippleNet for the US government. They would gift that to the US government. The US government would use that could use XRP for settlement, but could also use RLUSD. You see how that would work? Okay, they would need to gift the technology to the US government. They cannot gift the XRP ledger. It is not theirs to give. The XRP ledger is a decentralized blockchain. The only thing Ripple could do is gift them technology. And that's how that plays out in my head. Okay? Because like you got to look at all of the things that Ripple has done over the last few years. More recently, the national banking license, right? One of these things here, let me show you, is this. Okay? Ripple is a member of the ABA, but not Circle. This means that the only crypto company can be considered a bank. They will not be able to stop what is coming for Ripple and XRP. The storm is here to stay. Ripple is the world's largest bank. So Ripple is a platinum member ABA partner network. Okay, so like, I think Ripple getting a banking license could be one of the things that plays in here. I hope that makes sense to you, Mo. I hope that makes sense to you. Bitcoin and ETH have no utility. Ethereum has a lot of utility. It has a lot of utility. Like, we're not being truthful or honest with ourselves if we're saying Ethereum does not have utility. It is, the smart contract. I mean, it is, it is the big, I don't know how you even describe Ethereum. Ethereum is not there really for settlement, but it is going to be a vital piece for tokenization and different products and layer twos. And most crypto liquidity right now is on Ethereum. It's on Bitcoin, BNB, Solana. Those are some of the top networks. We're not being honest with ourselves if we're saying Ethereum has no utility. See you, Nicole. Take care of yourself. All right, Mo. I'm glad that helped you. HBAR. Hey, Aaliyah, how you doing? Hedera. I mean, the Hedera Council is some of the biggest companies in the world, especially here in the United States. I think HBAR is going to be a vital piece going forward. Am I more bullish on HBAR over XRP? No, but I do own some HBAR. So, but Quant isn't an American company. Where's Quant based out of? Hold on. Yeah, here you go. This is the problem with your logic. Based out of London, United Kingdom. If you were the United States government, are you going to use a technology that is not an American company? That's the problem, right? If you start using a technology that's built in a different country, there is national security risks at play there. And you could say the lawsuit that Ripple and XRP went through for 4.5 years was the vetting process, right? You don't have that vetting process with Quant. Now, is Quant, is it technology is brilliant. Gilbert Verdian's brilliant. It's going to be used on a massive scale. But is it the right fit for the US? That's a tough sell for me. Boone Farms, MD 2020. Man, you're drinking some really interesting stuff. Dolph, great to see you. Watching from the Philippines. Thank you so much, man. I hope you're doing well. I mean, AI is a hot topic right now in the crypto space. Of course, we're bullish on it. XTC? Are we just talking about XTC in general? Trade finance? I mean, that's going to be very successful too. It fills a need and a gap. There's some pretty smart people behind it, make sure that's going to do well. I haven't followed XTC in quite some time though. Which tokens will be used for stocks? Like which blockchains are they going to tokenize stocks on? I think that's what you're asking. Ondo. Pretty simple question. Ondo, Ethereum. You're probably going to get some tokenization on the XRP ledger. You're going to get tokenization on HBAR. There's a lot of good networks. Tom with another $10, man. Tom, thank you, dude. Can you explain your Dojo subscription one more time? Also, does your team offer a portfolio review and some guidance? So Tom, okay, let's take a look at it one more time, okay? So the Dojo, and we're still working on the name, I don't know. This is basically, so I put out 3 videos a day. Every day you're going to get a video hours before it comes out on YouTube without ads. That's one of the benefits. Another benefit is some of my research that I am doing live will be posted into this, right? So parts of my research that just don't get shared pretty much anywhere will get posted in here. So you're going to be able to see some of it in real time. I'm also going to post reactions to news live, some reactions to news, and my team's also going to be posting live XRP news and updates, right? This is also a way to support the community, like the team that's working behind the scenes to make all this stuff happen. And also we're probably going to offer like one-on-ones, but those one-on-ones would come with a cost because it would, be, my time. I haven't really jumped into one-on-ones because, if I'm spending a few hours a day on one-on-ones, it's, I don't know if that's the best use of my time. But if you wanted to do a one-on-one, Tom, we could definitely work out something. All right. Yeah, guys. So if you're if you're just joining us, we created this community to help support our team. And I know people are looking for ways to support this channel. This is $25 a month, and you're going to get access to a lot of XRP related content. You're going to get some other crypto content too. Also, if I'm buying other tokens or things like that, pre-sales, they'll be posted in there as well. But it's really not, Cryptonaires is really the community that people are doing trading and sharing projects and those types of things. This is really there for XRP related news and research. Is basically giving you an inside look on my research and giving you content without ads. Now we might go, 2 videos a day. Where I'm not sure, right? It depends how popular it gets and what people ask for. But we wanted to find a way for the community to start supporting the channel in other ways, and this is a way that we found to do that. All right. Thank you for the donation. Stellar, very popular, man. Stellar, very, very popular. Luna gonna get fat, buddy. I know, man. You've donated like $30 or $40 today. Luna's gonna eat real well. The bags of treats are like $15. The grass-fed beef jerky is like 20. So I'll be able to get her a few different things from you, Tom. I appreciate you. The crypto market is in some rough shape right now due to partly the government shutdown. And partly there's a lot of liquidity leaving like Ethereum and Base and Solana to go to BNB right now. So you're in this weird kind of, I don't know what you call it, man. Yeah, Stronghold, it's got a lot of good ties in the community. A lot of people like it. Absolutely. Tom Rich. Yeah, Tom's got money. Man, we've had PK donated 10 Canadian. Crypto Protege 199, David $5, AK Scarface 499, Tom 10, Just Maui super sticker. Just Maui, I think I missed this earlier. I do apologize, man. I'm so sorry. David with a $2, Tom with a 10, Tom with a 10. Man, strong. Yeah, I bet she did. I bet Luna telepathically communicated she wants filet mignon. Alfredo, as much as you think it's going to take for your retirement, man, I don't know. That's a complicated question that's different for every single person, my man. And then when you get to that point, is that enough? Right? It's very difficult. You guys are making me hungry now. Filet mignon, that sounds really good. You guys are wild. All right. Is there any other questions? Any other topics you guys want to discuss before we end here today? Now's the time. How do you feel about TradeFi coming into the market, changing cycles, and be able to manipulate the markets? I mean, there's always going to be manipulation by big institutions. You got to hope that over the next few years, there's going to be enough liquidity in the market. So hopefully manipulation won't be as bad, but there's nothing that we're going to be able to do to stop institutions that have unlimited funds and that have supercomputers and AI. Like there's nothing we can do, James. I mean, I know that's a kind of a weird outlook to have, but realistically, they've been doing this for hundreds of years, right? Hundreds of years. And like, what do we think is going to happen that's going to stop them? Still going to happen, dude. Still going to happen. Any AI bot trading platforms? Bot trading platforms. I don't use a lot of bot trading platforms. I'm probably not the right person to ask for this, Attila. I'm sorry. I know that there's a lot of, technology that's not really tested that offers some crazy yield and things like that. There is like one of the companies that I find that's probably that's got some really cool, unique technologies, 3 commas. Let me show you 3 commas. I've done some stuff with 3 commas. They have a lot of really cool technology. Like they're probably one of the biggest. I would just look the website. Where's the website? Hold on. 3 commas. Let me pull it up on my thing. Here it is. Here. All right, so this is 3 commas. Automate crypto trading, build, backtest, optimize, and execute. Basically 2 million registered users, 2.4 million accounts connected. I mean, this is probably one of the more reputable companies that I know of. If you're looking to do anything in trading bots, that's probably the better one. I hope that helps you. What is the best steakhouse there? So there's like Highs, there's Ruth's Chris, there's Morton's. There's some other kind of like smaller restaurants, you know, like that are not chains. But High Steakhouse is probably a big one here in Hawaii. And I'm sure there's some other ones that I'm just not remembering, but those are like the three that come to my mind when you're asking me about steak. No update on the XRP bank license. The license was filed on July 30th, I believe. You need at least 120 days. So that puts us right at the end of October. Is it going to happen then? I mean, usually it takes like 9 months. So could it be sped up? Absolutely. Do we have any definite real information that we can point to yet? No. You ever think of covering all Ripple partners in a quick video? So Tom, I love the thought and I love the idea, but all Ripple partners and quick video don't go together. If I were to cover all Ripple partners in a video, it would probably be like a 40-minute video. I've done this before, like a few years ago, and it took me 45 minutes to go through the major partnerships. It took me 45 minutes. Now I could probably speed that up, especially now with my level of knowledge, but it would still take some time. But I'll put that on the list, Tom. I'll put that on the list, okay? I got you, Tom. Oh, you're talking about you're not talking about like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Santander, SBI, PNC Bank, MUFG. You're not talking about that. You're talking about integration. You're talking about integration. Got it. Got it. Okay. Well, the future of warfare looks to be like drones, right? Drones, anti-drone technology. I mean, kind of crazy what you're seeing take place. I saw this pretty interesting thread on like future military technology on X. Let me see if I can find that actually. Hold on. I think I bookmarked it because I thought it was so interesting. Let me see. Yes, I do have it. Check this out. Look at this. You got a phaser rifle, iron vision. You got these robots, rail link, cutting edge AI powered electromagnetic warfare system. You got all kinds of stuff here, man. I'll share this with you, okay? You might like this. Bruce Chris is pretty good, dude. Cut. I don't know anything about WLD. Sorry. I can't help you, man. What are your thoughts on XRPR ETF? XRPR, is that one of the future ones? XRPR ETF. Which one is that? Is that Grayscale? Hold on. I don't know why I Googled something. Rex Osprey ETF. I mean, I think it's like a percentage is XRP and some of the percentage is something else. I mean, yeah. You got to talk with your financial advisor, my man. Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Mandalorian. So good. So good. Grogu. Stuff for possible investment. All right, Tom, I'll look into it. I'll spend some time this week. All right. I got you.
Yeah, I saw that, dude. I saw that, man. Can I play that ad without them striking the channel? I worry about that. I did see that, man. It's not good. Yeah, Rex Osprey, you're right. You're right. Coin. With Tether having $130 billion of US debt, we really want Tether to depeg? No, but that's a part of, we were talking about Jay Claver's domino theory, and that's a part of it. So I am not rooting for the total collapse of the bond market. No, absolutely not. No, not rooting for that in any way, shape, or form. It would be catastrophic for like my dad, my mom, a bunch of people who have money in the stock market, in the bond market. Banks and institutions would collapse. It's not just rainbows and sunshines. It's anarchy. It's chaos. And it would be catastrophic for the economy. No, I'm not rooting for it. Tether is shady. Absolutely. I agree with you. 100%. And it infuriates me. It infuriates me that they will go out and talk about spending billions of dollars on Bitcoin mining or gold mining or whatever it is, but they cannot spend $5 to $10 million on an audit. That is some pretty shady dealings. And if your critic's biggest concern, or if your critic's biggest thing was an audit, just go get it done. If there's not a problem, get it done. Unless there is a problem. Right? That's the scary part. And that props up a lot of the crypto market, Bitcoin's price. I don't know, man. Pretty crazy to me. So Tune Edit says, if you miss XRP at 2 cents, SHX is the next best investment. Probably right. Probably right. So over the last here, let's find out exactly when. It's been years, brother. It's been years. When was the last real audit? Tether preformed on their reserves. Oh, here you go. They've never completed a full audit. Never completed a full and independent real audit to the reserves to date. Never. Never. That's pretty scary, right? Never. Hi. Raimundo. What's up, Raimundo? Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It is crazy. I mean, you walk into the boardroom, right? And you're like, hey, how's that audit looking, guys? Anybody? Anybody have any information on the audit? No? Oh, that's what it's like in the Tether boardroom. Brazil in the house. Great to see you. Bernie Madoff shit. True. Yeah, a lot of people believe that. It's crazy that they can go out and create another stablecoin for the US market without providing clear, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's some pretty shady stuff going on there.
Lenny Rodriguez, bro, love your content. Keep it up. Currently getting all my XRP from info from you. Lenny, man, thank you so much. I can't, I don't know what to say, man. I really appreciate you. I love your support. I would say, you know, listen to other people too, right? Let some other people into your life. You know, I try to not just get all my information from one person, but listen, I love you for it. I love you for it. You know, I try to listen to as many voices as I can. I know your time is limited, and I don't know why I'm trying to talk you out of just listening to me, but you know, try to expand that knowledge and research if you can, man, because there's other people that have a lot of other credible information, and the space is filled with a lot of really amazing people. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you, Lenny. Paul, what's up, dude? Good to see you, Paul. Damn, Hot says Tether equals another FTX. Red Panda's here too. Red Panda says Tether will fail and Tulip Mania will be in effect for Bitcoin. I hear voices. Sometimes. Lucius, what's up, Sensei? How you doing? I appreciate your videos. A lot of value. Can't wait till the 18th. Man, I know you're probably talking about the ETFs, right? We probably need to get through this shutdown here in the United States if we're going to get those ETFs approved. But yeah, man, it should be a good month, man. We just got to get through some of this craziness first. Too Spicy. What's up, Too Spicy? Big up from Brussels, Belgium. Thank you for being here, man. Appreciate you. Collaborate with Mickle? You know, I'll reach out. I know Mickle's a part of Jake's community. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think Jake has kind of instructed his team not to speak to me or speak with me. So I don't know if Mickle's a part of that. We'll have to see, man. I'll try to reach out. Hot, what's going on the 12th, man? We got another ETF that we're forgetting about. Why doesn't? I don't know. You'd have to ask Jake. He was supposed to come and do an interview on the channel a few months back. And then like we were setting up a time and then his team just didn't get back to me for like a month. And I reached out and I was like, hey, you know, what's going on? And they were interested. They wanted to come promote Digital Ascension Group or whatever. And then he didn't. You'd have to ask Jake. I don't know. You and Mick will make a better combo. I appreciate that. I don't even know if he follows me, man. Let me see. Oh yeah, we do follow each other. Let me see. Yeah, I'll reach out to him, man. I'll see what he says. What's my preferred cold wallet? I can only tell you what I've used. So like if you're looking for like a cheap phone wallet, Zamin, what is it? Zamin. And if you're looking for like a hardware wallet, Ledger or Treasure would be my two choices. Decent, excuse me. I've had a Treasure wallet, but I never used it. Decent sent me a wallet a few months ago. It's pretty nice actually, with the app and everything. Works really good. Yeah, Ledger is dope. They sent me some stuff too, like here. Ledger sent me Ledger Flex, and they sent me a Nano S Plus. So I'm gonna be kind of opening these up soon here and doing a video about it. So we'll see how that goes. OSOK says he's got a treasure and he likes it. Yeah, all good, man. I misspell shit all the time. All right, LEX, I'll see you, man. Have a good rest of your week, dude. All right, guys, listen, we are entering a 2 hours and 25 minutes live streaming. And listen, I have to, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I got to get ready to pick up Thaisa and I got to take Luna out for a walk here. It was raining all day yesterday. She didn't get to go out, and I'm going to go take her for a walk. So listen, I appreciate everybody's support. We got 1,200 people in the chat here, 991 on X, 204 on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you all have a fantastic day. We'll be back on Friday with a whole new chat. If you got questions, bring those. Thank you for your support. If you want to support the new community, please go to this link here. It's $25 a month. You can support our team. You can get access to videos without ads. You can get access to my research in real time. You can get access to XRP updates all live in this new community for $25 a month. I really appreciate your support if you're able to do that. Thank you so much, guys. Aloha. Peace out.